Okay, so welcome back from the break. Entertainment Review here on Metro Television. Let's get in straight as I introduce our guest who is in the studio with us, and later some others will join us. He is the project officer at the Ghana Tourism Authority. Ladies and gentlemen, looking dapper in his green and white. No, it's not white. It's... Why do I try these colors?
Just anyway.
Try. And also, that is our guest this afternoon. Good afternoon and welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. How are you? Too?
I'm good. Happy New Year to you.
Many happy returns. I noticed you were struggling with colors.
But I tried
it's okay.
to
No, it's all right. The ladies do better than us.
Right.
I still remember only the 6 and the 12. The rest that they created, I have no idea.
You know, they have some burgundy and some other ones.
Right.
We are not part of it.
Yeah.
So later on the show, join us on phone also. We'll be speaking to Kojo Poku, who's a big ideas, and also Nana Otopia in Cancer is with Benchmark Marketing. She'll also be joining us via phone later on the conversation. So let's get straight into it. December in Ghana. Ernest, your assessment.
Okay.
From the authorities' perspective.
Okay. I probably should throw a little light on what really December in GH means.
Okay.
It's a concept that we started in 2019, and it was part of the Year of Return idea. This is something that was done to basically position or promote Ghana as a holiday destination, you know, for the target of the Ghanaian diaspora, the global diaspora, and even other African diaspora communities to join us here in Ghana to make Ghana more like a holiday season, you know, at the end of the year. And so when we started in 2019 till date, you and I know how successful it's been. And that is basically the concept around it. This year, prior to the end of last year, our target was to at least bring in, because of COVID, we could do more. But after 2019, you and I know what happened.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, we were struck so hard by that COVID, and the numbers dwindled like that, unfortunately. But we're hoping to do 1 million, at least by the end of December, just ended December. Yeah. I want to believe that by the time you call me again to ask me for my report, I should be telling you I did 1.5 or 1.6 million. Yeah. And so that's basically the history behind December in GH. Now, what is December in GH? Basically, it's more like an umbrella of or a concept where we invite local people to put together things that we promote. A lot of people get confused. They think the GTA is organizing an event called December in GH. No, it's wrong. It's actually a concept, a marketing concept that we put together and encourage the industry that we belong, obviously the creative arts, entertainment and all that, to come together and do stuff, a lot of things that we get involved with. We help them, we promote it, and then we draw the people in. Look, the question is, I go around to make sure my mandate is satisfied. My mandate as the Ghana Tourism Authority is to promote the country by inviting people here. What are they coming to do?
Yeah.
And so it is up to you and I, who you are the event organizer, you are the hotelier, you are the person that is making the wache and the shito and the rest. How do you benefit that? So I go in to bring the people, come in with a concept, I support you, you hold the concept, and we keep the people here.
Okay, that's great.
Yep.
2019, we all know what happened. You know, the numbers dwindled. So
Yeah.
2022, 21 into 2022, I'm sure that the plan was a very huge one to try and get the numbers back in. Take us back to January of last year.
Yeah.
And the plan to get people to come in even after COVID-19, and to get, even as the locals anticipate that there's something as December in Ghana. I
would admit that, I mean, the whole idea, to some extent, a lot of people missed the message, you know, what it really meant.
What
and
do you think people thought it was?
Oh, a lot of people thought, Charlie, GTA, they do event too. let's attend. And when somebody can call you and ask you, Charlie, when is the December in GH happening? I'm like, okay, like how does this person understand the whole idea? And so, I mean, go back to January. We saw what COVID did. In 2021, late 2021, we tried to come back with some of the events. You remember there was Taste of Ghana, Afrochella happened, Afro Nations No. Some of the other events, Little Acre, that's the all-white, Little Havana, and a few others, I mean, were able to happen. And look, believe you me, had it not been COVID, I am sure Ghanaians will probably begin to look for where to go to out of Ghana so that we leave the country for the other people. Because the numbers that we had prior to COVID was unbelievable. Hotels were booked from, I think from the data I had at the time, hotels were booked from June all the way to December. And now, when the diasporans are coming, they don't even book to the first week. They book to the second week of January to leave the country. As I speak with you, there's a lot of them still in town.
Yeah.
And if you go to the airport, they are now even preparing their yellow cards and the rest to see how they get out there. So, for me, my focus probably will be on the success of what it's been like. For the plan, yes, indeed, we go out there to invite the global community. There are other events that we do. We have the Emancipation, we have Panafest, if you remember what Panafest is. These are things that, Panafest is every 2 years. Emancipation is every year. Now, these are things that have certain communities also taking keen interest in. And they come in from May. We have, even in Ghana Tourism Authority, we have the paragliding, which we do during the Easter celebrations. I tell you, up to today, we are not able to satisfy the number of people who travel all the way to Kwewu to want to fly. And it's unbelievable. Last year, we had over 428 subscriptions, and we couldn't fly all of them. It's not my fault. You know the weather. The weather can be funny sometimes, yeah. And we normally bring in all the pilots all over, to come and do this flying. And then now, see, the interesting thing is that we even have tandem pilots from Ghana now. We have 2 Ghanaians who now can fly and fly with people. We're hoping that we'll get to a point where everybody else will be Ghanaian. But the thing is this. There are several other events that we do through the year. It's not only the last quarter of the year where we have the December in GH.
Okay.
So there are several other events that bring in the people. But the chunk of it, obviously, comes from the December in GH. You cannot do year of return and do year of return every year. So you need to do year of return. Then how do you sustain the coming of the people? We have Beyond the Return, which has its own, pillars that we are working with. But how do you sustain that last quarter of the year and make sure that it's a holiday destination for the world?
Wow.
Okay.
Awesome. So, I mean, from what you're saying, it's obvious that, well, COVID at a point had some sort of effect on December in Ghana, but then we are picking up. Now, moving forward, a lot of people come from outside to come and celebrate December in Ghana. How are we going to sustain this?
So, you see, the question of how are we going to sustain is for all of us to see what that concept can bring us in the next 2 years, the next 5 years, the next 10 years. If I'm an event organizer, it is my responsibility to make sure that next year I have enough equipment to host even bigger events. Look, we saw Global Citizen in this country. Yeah. A lot of people don't even know how that came to Ghana. Right?
What we know is that the event went well.
That's all we know. But you'll be amazed that at least up to about 40% of the equipment you saw were supplied in Ghana. Which you and I should be happy about to some extent. But to some extent, as an event organizer, I'll say that, Charlie, it's not enough. Look, how do we get all these things in town so that we can even do bigger events? There was Usher on that stage. Am I correct?
Right.
Usher anywhere else. You've seen the kind of rider that they use. But we met it. A few things were, flown out of, from out of the country to support.
The country.
But right from that Global Citizen stage, Ghana or Accra, let me say Ghana, the country has been very vibrant. No, don't get it wrong.
We'll get into that conversation about Accra and the rest of the regions.
Well,
you just keep that part.
Anyway, so right from that event, you realize that the country has been just growing up with regards to entertainment and the creative art industry. It's been just up like that till the 31st, or should I say the 2nd of January. So the thing is this, to anybody else, I think it is up to us to look at how we can take advantage of it. I'll tell you what, there was a group that came, I think, early last year. They went back and all they could talk about was Shito from Papaye. Is it from GTA? No. But that is how someone's brand has been able to get out there. How does that person take advantage? That person has to take advantage, not me. For me, I'll continue to push my mandate to promote the country, to promote Ghana, to put Ghana, to position Ghana as a holiday destination. But what about you and I? Metro TV, what will you do? Organize some TV event.
We've been covering a lot of the events and letting our people know that this is happening. Of course, Kaka is a very good friend, so every time he's here, talking about GTA and events. You mentioned a lot of people. The value chain, it's a very long one.
Huge. Yeah.
How did you try to get everybody in so that people? I know always the conversation is hotels are expensive. GT, what are you doing about it? A lot of people are coming in, but the hotels are expensive. Yeah. When I went out this time around, I saw a lot of the diasporans complain about these the Yangos, the boats, and all of those things. You know, quite driver, you know, how did you engage all of them, the food vendors, those who are selling clothes, everybody, to make sure that everybody comes good with this particular one?
So I mean, as part of our planning and preparations for the last quarter of the year, we started something through what you call the Ghana Cares. A lot of people don't know what that is about, I'm sure, but a few people also may know. But we use that to train a lot of people in that particular industry.
Okay.
So we train hoteliers, we train even Uber drivers. If you go to Uber right now, they'll tell you, I mean, we had that training for them. We had that training for tourists, the tour guides as well.
Guides, yeah.
We had the same thing done for taxis. And so we actually meet with these people and we try to train them ahead of time for them to know. Look, you would agree with me that some of these price hikes and stuff are just unfortunate economical issues that we probably may have gone through. Other than that, it would have been very, very smooth.
True.
But our part, you and I cannot go and touch the dollar or the city. But mine is to make sure that I train the people in that value chain to make sure that I grow that sector, and which is what we did. We had a lot of training sessions for all the people within that particular industry, including even the event organizers. I mean, a lot of them will tell you we met them, I mean, too many times that I can't even remember, but a lot of times, because we always need to update them. We need to know what they are up to. I tell you what, this is how it all started. So this year, we had, I'll check the numbers, but I think we had about 124 proposals for events.
Okay.
Imagine, only for the last quarter. So what you saw happening was just about 30% of the proposals that we received for them to have events. Now, this is it. If you're trying to hold such a marketing campaign, it is wise and right that you try to control it also. So that at the end of the day, you know when anything goes wrong, oh, GTA. But when something goes right, they don't look for us.
Right.
You get it? So how do we make sure this thing goes right? We need to bring all these people together. So this is what we did. We put out a communique that every event organizer should submit what event idea that they have. And that's how we started from 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then when you submit these proposals, there's a whole committee and there's a secretariat that deals with it. Now we go through, there are certain things that we look out for. Your venue, whether you have a venue, whether you have the funds to organize what you want to do. I don't want to go promote something and then you come and tell me you don't have funds to organize, then what?
Right.
I should go and look for money for you, no. But in as much as we try to support you some way, somehow, we need to make sure we check, we have some boxes that we have to tick. So your venue, the funds to organize it, your sponsors, your target audience, how do you intend to get them? We check all these things and then we finally give approval and then we partner to be able to. So that is why you see Beyond the Return as a secretariat and then GTA on almost every event that happened.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask that because just before the December started, there was a list of events, and, a list from the event, and it was crazy how like there could be like 3-4 events in a day, and I was asking myself, how did these people?
You'll be amazed. They started submitting proposals way back April.
Oh.
Yeah, and there are regular ones that
you know it would happen.
It would happen. And so, and the interesting thing is, even they know it will happen. They don't wait. They even approach us even earlier than everybody else. You'll be amazed. Afrochella is number one. I hear it's going to be Afrofuture now.
Afrofuture.
Right.
But look, those guys, I give them thumbs up all the time. They don't even wait till the time. They begin to engage you from January, February. I'm sure by now there's even a letter saying thank you and asking when we can meet for, and that is how most of them are keeping up to what's happening. Afro Nations, for example, they've been engaging us the whole year through when it didn't happen till what just happened.
Okay.
So that is how some of them have kept up with us. And so they submit proposals very early. We keep vetting through them. Sometimes we ask them questions. We try to know what their challenges are, what they need. If we can support, why not? We try to offer some help. Those that we can't, we tell them and we direct them on how they can get things done. So that's how these events that you see get on the calendar.
Great. So, I mean, with the list that you brought out, we saw some name of certain events and all that. So, which means that the event that we don't see on the list, they are events that have taken place in December, but then again, they are not associated with GTA.
So, some of the events obviously will not submit. Look, if you be a men's home, I mean, there are those who think they can just do their own thing.
Right.
And for some strange reason, others also want to do things their own way.
Okay.
What is unfortunate about these things is that it will get to a time it will catch up with them because then we need to begin to, streamline some of these things. If it happens that you cannot do an event, if the Ghana Tourism Authority is not aware or it's not part of it, what would you do? You'll be forced to. And so you will catch up with them. I'm not saying that they cannot. I mean, everybody can. Look, Ghana, Ghana, free for everybody can do their event. Yeah. But I know with time, when things begin to even get better than it is now, so all these people, I expect that they will join and then we can make it better. Okay. So yes, there are several of the events that we are not part of.
All right. Yeah. That's fine, but I hope that with time they'll probably change their ways and then
I pray they do.
Join it. But then again, you're talking about taking advantage of December in Ghana and all that other sectors taking advantage of that event. We have a lot of tourist centers in Ghana. How are we keeping them? Because I know that when people come outside from elsewhere to come to Ghana, they'll probably want to go and visit our tourist site to have their own experience of it, so that when they go, and they will have something to say. How are we keeping our tourist sites? So are we investing in it?
I wish I could stay away from this one. But all the same, let me just give you a little history around it. So it will interest you to know that not every tourist site that you are aware of is under the GTA. A lot of the time, people get confused. They think we have power over every tourist site, but no. A lot of them are handled by the local authorities and the assemblies. I'll give you a typical example. In 2016 or early 2017, if I'm correct, there was an incident in Kintampo Waterfalls.
Yeah. Right.
And the moment it happened, all we hear is Ghana tourism. Yeah. But you'll be amazed. GT had nothing to do with it. It wasn't under your care. No. But what we had to do as more like a test case or a template is to say that, guys, you know what? If we are going to get bashed whenever there is anything like this happening, then let's take advantage of it. Now, let's take over it. You guys stay away. Let's come up with some sort of a contract where we run, whatever comes out of it, we give the local authority, that's the traditional authority, that's the chiefs and the people. Yeah. We give the local assembly also theirs. We have a portion that goes into redevelopment of the place. And then that part that comes to GT. And that is the template that we have been able to establish. Currently, I'm aware there's an LI of a sort that is being pushed through Parliament to see if we can have that approved or accepted so that we can afford to, apply this to. But that notwithstanding, we've been able to help a lot of, the tourist sites around the Nkrumah Mausoleum, which you are aware is recently has been revamped. There's a lot more that we offer support to, but we know it will get to a point where we can begin to, express this particular idea on other tourist sites. But like I said, people don't know this, but most of the tourist sites we have in this country are not fully under the Ghana Tourism Authority. Only a few.
Wow. So the ones that are under your authority, how are you sustaining it?
When was the last time you went to Kintampo Waterfalls?
Well,
Kintampo Waterfalls. No, I haven't been there.
Okay, so I'll tell you what. Kintampo Waterfalls currently has even a canopy walk.
Yeah, I heard that.
Okay. Yeah. And so that traffic that travels I almost said 2 years. 2 years from the north to Cape Coast, just because you want to have that experience, it's been somehow taken care of from that aspect. Okay. And the area has been redeveloped in a way that people now have parties, events, and all that at the waterfalls. It used to happen, but it wasn't conducive. It wasn't good enough.
That's one out of a lot.
Yeah, that's one out of a lot. But for me, it's more like an example I'm giving you. There are a few others that we are investing in. For example, this whole idea of Marine Drive, you saw where the Afro Nations event happened.
Yeah. Right.
3, 4, 5 years ago, that whole place wasn't that clear.
Yeah.
But it's been cleared. And there is some discussions going on, raising revenue.
And the drive there, I've been over today.
But if you know start, you know go finish. You need to start. Which is the reason why you've seen what we've done so far. Okay. Getting access to the place, clearing all, there's been a lot of work. If you go all the way to the lighthouse area, there is that development along the ocean and all that. You see, all these fall under our purview.
Okay. Anas, can you hold on for me? We've got Kojo Poku on the line. He is with big ideas. Kojo, good afternoon. Happy New Year.
Good afternoon. Happy New Year to you guys.
Great. Quickly, your assessment of December in Ghana, the organization of all the events that took place. What would be your ratings?
I think Ghana did very well as a country. That we should all pat ourselves in the back for putting up a very, very good show for the rest of the world to come and experience December here. We are lucky to have a very nice, conducive environment that promotes good tourism, and I'm glad that the private sector is teaming up with the government agencies to be able to make sure that this is really done and done properly.
Was there anything that you saw that you thought that we could work on that so it could be better next year or this year?
I think there's still a lot of room for government to support the private sector in terms of capacity building. I would like to see more collaboration in terms of building the capacity of people in the entertainment industry, specifically to do with lighting, to do with audiovisuals, to do with handling of sound equipment and all that. We still need to train a lot more professional sound engineers. We still need to train a lot of lighting technicians. We still need to train audiovisual, technicians. We still need, because there's no training institution in this country that handles these things. Everyone who is practicing this in Ghana right now either learned it on the job or had a training outside the country. It's about time that the state institutions invest in these areas, because if you look at December, I mean, majority of the people who came for events. Okay. And who are the people who put this event together? It's the private sector that put these events together, with the collaboration of the GT, of course, but a lot of the manpower was private sector, and private sector is trying as much as it can to train its people. I mean, I know people who go for training in South Africa and other countries around the world to be able to equip themselves to meet the challenges of this sector, because it's a very expensive venture that people invest in equipment and also have to train their personnel to be able to meet these expected demands. Because if you look at an event like the Afrochella, for instance, there was a lot of job done on the way the stage looked and the way the audiovisuals were presented and all that. Some of the things that we did here, you can match it to any global event anywhere in the world. If we want to maintain that standard across the country, where somebody goes to Sunyani to do a concert and uses local people in Sunyani to do that concert without bringing people from Accra to do that concert, we need to look at it carefully and train people to be able to match up to that standard. Otherwise, we can only do so many events only in Accra, and then the rest of the country will just be the way it is, where everything is centered in Accra.
All right.
So that is an area that I think we need to really pay a little bit more attention to.
Great. So from what you're saying, is that to say that the GTA and the government in general can actually invest more in the creative industry than they are doing right now?
Exactly so. I mean, I know in terms of handouts, it's not possible for GTA and the tourism ministry to dole out cash to people, but through collaborations, we can organize workshops and training. I know they do that for hoteliers and all that, but when it comes to the creative industry, I don't see any training workshop for lighting technicians. I don't see anybody calling anybody to say, okay, we know that LED screens have become the major forte when it comes to doing set designs right now. And so we want to bring one of the best LED people from across the world to come and train our LED technicians in Ghana, so that anyone who is doing LED screens will be trained to that level where anyone comes from anywhere in Ghana. They will not bring people. I mean, when I did the Global Citizen Festival, I tried as much as possible to reduce the number of people that will come from outside the country to be part of the production. But as hard as I tried, there were areas that we could not match the expertise that was required, that we had to bring people from outside the country to do the job. And as much as possible, it will be great if some of these young men and women in this area could be trained so that we can match some of the best, in the world, to reduce the number of people who will come in here and take our dollars out, and keep some of the knowledge too locally.
Okay. All right, Kojo, thank you. I think it's been insightful what you've been saying to us this afternoon, and hopefully we'll have you next time in the studio. Yeah.
Yes, I would just like to end by thanking the state authorities and the GTA, the diaspora office at the office of the president, and all the people involved in the year of return and beyond the return and so on and so forth, for really pushing the cause. December in Ghana was started some time ago, but with the collaboration and the initiative of these bodies, it's been pushed to another level. I know that there's still a lot more to be done. What I want to see is the real definition of the December in Ghana, not December in Accra.
In Accra.
I want to see that on one day we are doing shows in Takoradi, we are doing shows in some small village in Agona, where I come from. I want to see like a widespread of this event that happens in Accra, so that the whole economy of Ghana gets to benefit from what Accra is benefiting from. Because right now, hotels in Accra are choked, all the restaurants in Accra gets booked. What about those in Sugakope? What about those in Salaga and all the other places? We need to extend all these events there, and it will only take collaborations between the private and the public sector to be able to achieve this.
Thank you very much, Kojo, for speaking to us. Kojo Poku is the executive director of Big Ideas Consult, sharing with us his thoughts on December in Ghana. When we come back, we'll be talking about two things: the finances and how we could spread this out of Accra, so it's not just December in Ghana or December in Accra. It would be December in every part of this country. This Entertainment Review will be back shortly. Okay, welcome back to Entertainment Review. My name is Desi Fading, the Starboy. Helen K is here with me, and Ernest Adame is the project officer at the Ghana Tourism Authority. He's also here. Earlier, you heard from Kojo Poku of Big Ideas. Ernest, so we are saying we don't want December in Accra. We want December in every part of the country. How are we going to do that? I think it should be something we should be able to do.
Yeah, I mean, look, I wouldn't say anything is impossible. I think I share a lot of the thoughts of Kojo Poku. I mean, he's a pioneer in the industry.
Yeah.
With his experience, I believe he actually understands all that he's talking about. And yes, I agree that we should have a lot more in other regions. I mean, some do happen already. There is the fancy dress that happens in Takoradi. I know there was supposed to be the Potomanto festival. I haven't checked whether it was able to happen in Accra.
Okay.
Some corner in Bimbilla, I have the videos also. There was some sort of an event also there. It's not enough. I agree.
It's not enough. Yeah.
I agree. It's not enough. Perhaps this industry, I would say, the creative art industry, should or is the trick to making sure that we can be able to have these events spread out through the country, pretty better, much better than what we have had so far. But hey, look, believe you me, the hub will always continue to be Accra.
All right, great stuff. But then we now have Abna on the line, and we'll be talking to her. Hello, Abna.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. Now, I hope you enjoyed your Christmas and your New Year as well.
Well, I didn't go on break because I was doing a lot of projects, but I'm still here. I'm still in the office. I'm hoping to get a break.
All right, hopefully you should get one. But then again, now, we had a lot of events across Accra in December. What are your general assessment of this event? How do you assess? How do you see it? Do you think it was successful?
I think most of them were successful because they started their communications way before December. And also, I feel some of them had to improvise and find ways of doing stuff. But I think one thing that we are missing out is we should really try and create experiences for the audience. It shouldn't be just this person is passing through. Because I feel like most of the events that happen, it's had most of the same faces coming through. So I think I saw tweets where people were saying, if you go for one event, it's like you've seen everyone. But I think our main focus should be on trying to create experiences for people. It shouldn't be just come, have fun, jam, and go. Maybe we can have smaller events that lead to the main one.
Okay, so smaller event that leads to the main one. So I mean that will bring us to the thought of, making sure that all these events cut across all regions in Ghana, not just in Accra.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, but then there have been some safety issues and security issues here and there. What are your general thoughts? What do you think can be done moving forward?
With the security issues, it has to do with, I think, ticketing.
Right.
It has to do with ticketing, and I think people also, the organizers also don't look at the people that they will be expecting, like the audience. So maybe with ticketing, if we look at the venue that we are going to use, we have to know that, okay, the capacity is maybe 3,500. So if I'm printing tickets, I have to print exactly that number or lesser, because you have chairs in there, you have a seating area for maybe VIP or something. So it has to be lesser so that there will be enough space for so for security reasons too, it helps so that you know, okay, who is coming in and how many people you are trying to occupy for that. But if that doesn't happen, I think there was one show that had to be cancelled.
Right, Afro Nations.
Yeah, Afro Nation. It had to be cancelled midway because people were trying to come in and they were saying the place was full. Okay. So I think it just has to do with briefing of the security people as well, and having other openings in place, like entrances in place, so that these things, the checkpoints, wouldn't be crowded with too many people.
Okay. Right. But you have been doing a lot of traveling. I saw on your socials you've been moving around. When you got to some of these places outside Accra, what was happening there in December?
I think the Takoradi had their Anchors thing, which is a thing that's catching on. I've been going to Takoradi since I was a kid, and I've experienced the whole masquerade thing since I was a child. So for it to be gaining a lot of traction now, I'm really impressed by it. And I feel it's also a hub where people go to party. So for us to, I think it would be best if we push some of these events to these key regions. Because we have this triangle, which is Accra, Takoradi, Kumasi. But every artist also has their audiences in almost every region. Because Meek Mill came to Ghana, and trust me, I didn't even think a lot of people listened to him. But looking at the way some fans went crazy when he was on stage, I could tell, oh, okay, everyone has their people. So it would be best if we have some of these events pushed to some of these regions to see how it's done there.
Okay. All right, thank you very much, Abena, for your thoughts this afternoon. Yes, hopefully you join us in the studio sometimes so we get to talk some more. Okay, so Abena is with Benchmark Marketing, helping us with this particular conversation. We're back in the studio with Ernest here. So I want to talk about the finances. A lot of money, 3 billion, we are getting more coming in. What are we doing with it? Because I don't know if your outfit will be able to liaise or find lobby for, the auditoriums you're talking about, our tourist sites, the roads, all of these things, the monies that are coming in. How are we using them judiciously to the benefit of the creative art space?
So, I mean, when it comes to financing, and I put out the caveat, I'd rather stay away.
I knew that was coming though.
Yes. But you see, because it's not directly under our regulatory authority, it is difficult to say that this is what it's being used for or this is where it's being taken to. We can only play our part by ensuring we put out the essence of why we need certain things to be done. For example, we need the roads to certain places to be fixed. We need that support to change the looks of certain tourist sites. We need some marketing support to push the equity that we have built so far on marketing when it comes to the country Ghana. These are the things that we do. It will interest you to know that we don't just, focus on only the tour aspect of tourism. No, even we even do football. To some extent, we delve a little bit into football tourism as well. You saw what the Black Stars wore. Have you wondered where that came from?
As they got to Qatar.
Exactly. Yeah, and these are the little things that we can do to put the country out there. There's more. I would like to hold off on that for now. But it will be difficult for us as Ghana Tourism Authority, even the Ministry of Tourism, to say that we regulate where. But yes, when there are some funds that we can use through the Ghana Cares, because the Ghana Cares is more like another concept that takes care of some of these things. And a lot are being done already. Trainings and all these things. I believe strongly that in the plan for the next year or two would have some of these things being taken care of.
Hopefully, because it seems it's evident that, the creative is making money, but then the money is not being invested back to them. Yes, somehow it gets into football and other sectors than the creative. So I think moving from here, you should actually find a way. Though directly you said you don't, you are not into that, but you should find a way to give back more into the creatives.
We should benefit from all
but you see,
of that.
The people in that value chain of the creative industry are actually making the money. Call him back and ask him.
No, so I mean, you can talk about the organizers, yes, but still the venues, they would have to pay more for those places. We would have 1, 2, 3 places we only have events: National Theatre, Conference Center, Grand Arena. So we had to go to the stadium, do LWAC, do Accra Sports Stadium, and incur more cost. A lot of these things, and then it's reflected on the ticketing. Now every show, almost 90% of them started from 300 cities regular. Because they had to get back the money for
and the last time I was told that Elwa Stadium, there was a football match that was supposed to happen. But because we didn't have a lot of
games taking place.
Yes, it was tough because events were happening. So I think that creatives need more attention.
Let's wrap up on domestic tourism.
Yeah.
It's something that we have not done really well. See, not just me. A lot of us now cannot say that we've gone to places in Ghana that on our own that we just want to go there. What are we doing about it?
So, I mean, in the recent past, there's been also a campaign that the GTA started when it comes to domestic tourism, where we have encouraged a lot of people to visit most of the tourist sites that we have in the country. If you go to a place like Upper West, where you have the Jurapa area. I mean, there's a nice place there. There's more like what you have at the Mole Park as well, where you can go do some safari and all that. Now, as part of that, domestic tourism is the reason why you see that the Independence Day celebration has also been moved to other. This is also to encourage people to visit the other regions through tourism as well. I mean, it's not much. Like I always say, I'd agree it's not much. But these are some of the things that we are already doing to make sure that we promote domestic tourism. If you follow Ghana Tourism, I mean, through the year, there are times that we have some promos where people answer questions and win, and then we send them out of town. I mean, out of Accra to see what's out there, and they come back with a lot of, good news from the places. We can do better, I agree, but at least something has been started.
Yeah. It's been a very fruitful one here on the show today. So, and as we've discussed 2022, I'm sure we'll get you back here as we plan for December.
Any day.
And kudos to GTA, your boss. Yes, your boss and the head of public, and everybody. Very good friend Kofi Atakakra Kusi. And yourself for joining us today. Yes, so let's give it to you. You've done a very good job. But
to the team,
room for improvement. This is how we wrap up the show today. Many thanks for watching us. We assess December in Ghana from the perspective of the Ghana Tourism Authority. We spoke to Kojopoko of Big Ideas and also Abna with Benchmark Markets. And my name is Desmond Okrekudan, so you can call me Desifredi in the Starboy, and I was here
with Helen Anyoweja. You can call me Helen K.
Yep, so we're wrapping up. Big shouts to the production team. Up next is News Flash on his standby. Enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye-bye.